Today's webinar is how to plan and prepare for the CMCA exam. My name is Laura Lozano, and I am the Credentialing Associate here at CAMICB.
And my name is Karina May, and I'm one of the webinar administrators here at CAMICB.
Before we get started, we just wanted to let everyone know that the presentation will last about 15 minutes. You can message us any questions throughout the presentation by using the tool on the control panel. You can also find a PDF copy of the presentation with hyperlinks included. And at the end of the program, we will have some time to answer your questions. All right, let's get started, Karina. What are we covering today?
Today, we're going to be covering 4 segments. First, we'll cover applying for the exam, including the authorization to test email. Next, we'll cover planning for the exam, including what to expect and some test-taking strategies. Then we'll cover preparing for the exam, some study resources, including our e-learning course. And then finally, we'll cover taking this exam. So that's keeping your confidence high and your stress level low.
Excellent. And now, what exactly is the CMCA?
The CMCA is the only international certification for community association managers, and it's officially called the Certified Manager of Community Associations. It demonstrates that you are a board-certified community manager who maintains their certification because it requires recertification every 2 years. It lets the public know that you are up to date on any changing laws, regulations, or any other hot topics in the area. And it helps to identify you as a competent and up-to-date manager. I also wanted to touch on the fact that this is specifically for community association managers and not property managers.
Would you be able to elaborate on the difference between community association managers and property managers?
Sure, so a community association manager can manage every type of community: condominium associations, homeowner associations, resort communities, and commercial tenant associations. A community association manager works directly with property owners and homeowners. And by comparison, a property manager oversees individual rental units or a group of rental units, such as an apartment complex. So that means they're going to be responsible for managing the entire property, whereas a community association managers are responsible for common areas and not individually owned properties. So essentially, in a nutshell, that's the difference between the two. And the CMCA is specifically for community association managers.
All right, now moving on to our next topic, how does one apply for the exam?
So once you have met one of the 3 prerequisite options, your next step is to apply for the CMCA exam at camicb.org. The cost of the application is $360, and that covers the cost of the application processing and the exam itself. And once you've submitted the application within about 3 to 5 business days, you'll receive what's called an authorization to test email, or ATT. And this email will give you instructions on how to schedule your exam at a Pearson VUE testing center.
Are there any other fees other than the $360?
No, the $360 covers the cost of the application processing and the exam itself. There are no other fees for the CMCA exam other than the $360 application fee.
All right, perfect. Let's go ahead now and move on to the authorization to test email.
So once you have your authorization to test email, you're going to want to look for 3 main components. First, you want to find your 1-year window, which is the 1 year that you were approved to schedule your exam. You'll want to find your first and last name on the application and verify that it matches your current photo ID. And then lastly, you'll want to find your HMRO ID number. And these 3 items are what you're going to use to schedule your exam.
All right, thank you. So next we have here is how do you schedule the exam?
Once you've identified and verified those 3 components, you can schedule your exam by either contacting the phone number provided, or you can schedule your exam online using the instructions included in your email. Be sure to schedule your exam several weeks in advance of your desired test date. And we recommend at least 3 months prior. And this is to ensure that the date that you would like to take your exam is not booked up before you schedule. You don't want to wait until a month or 2 before your year authorization expires to find out that there aren't any good test dates. Now, if you have a conflict with your currently scheduled appointment to take your exam, you can certainly reschedule. However, you'll need to contact Pearson VUE at least 24 hours in advance. If you reschedule your exam less than 24 hours before your exam, then you will be counted as a no-show and you will forfeit your exam application fee.
Great. Now let's go ahead and move on to how to prepare and plan for the CMCA exam.
Your first step should be to take a look over the type of content that will be included on the CMCA exam. And you can see on the infographic to the right-hand side here that there are 6 key knowledge areas that are going to be tested on the exam. You'll notice that each of these key knowledge areas has a percentage, and this has to do with how the exam is graded, and that is cumulative grading. And what that means is that candidates are graded on performance in all knowledge areas. So a weak score in one area can be offset by a strong performance in another. Candidates do not have to achieve a fixed percentage score in each area to achieve an overall passing score. Now, once you have a good understanding of the test content as an overview as to what those knowledge areas are, then you'll want to delve in a little deeper and review the terms and knowledge areas for each of these. You'll also want to understand the difference between applied knowledge and concrete knowledge. And to elaborate, concrete knowledge is best described as recall knowledge of the terms, facts, and theories you learn. For example, from a course like the M100. Applied knowledge, on the other hand, is more comprehensive and involves the use of learned information into new and concrete situations to solve problems that have a single answer. So, for example, what is a quorum would not be a question you would see on the CMCA exam. You could, however, find a question like quorum requirement conflicts are resolved by which of the following, and then you would see 4 possible answers. So once you have a good understanding of the overall structure of what the exam looks like and what knowledge is going to be required, then your next step will be to create a personalized study plan. And a great tool to help you with this is our CMCA preparation e-learning course. And this is a great tool to start out with because it gives you an overview of what the program looks like, what study tools are available, and it helps establish where you are and where your current understanding of those knowledge areas are. And then lastly, you'll want to look at strategies for standardized test taking. And we do have a CMCA study guide that includes some test taking strategies that you can review while you're in the planning phase for the CMCA exam.
All right, so before we dive into the current resources, we wanted to highlight the new CMCA self-assessment tool. And this is a free tool that helps you evaluate your familiarity with each knowledge area on the exam. And there are 2 formats available. One is the interactive electronic version with radio buttons to track your confidence and build a personalized study plan. And there's also a printable version, which you can complete by hand. And the self-assessment is not graded and does not predict performance, but it's designed to highlight where to focus your efforts. All right, now let's talk about the current resources available.
Sure. We also have the CMCA study guide as well as the CMCA handbook. And these are 2 free resources that are downloadable PDFs that are available to you at any time. There's also the Foundation for Community Association Research Best Practice Reports, and these are free downloadable PDFs. We have webinars and videos, including the CMCA e-learning course, which is available for free at any time. And we also have the CMCA practice exam, which provides a realistic sense of the exam content and question format because it provides questions that have been rotated off of the CMCA exam. We also have Quizlet, which is a fun interactive online tool that you can use to help you understand key terms and definitions. And then finally, we offer prerequisite course material. So for example, if you took the M100, you have access to that prerequisite course material.
And Karina, where can candidates find this information?
All the study materials for the CMCA exam can be found on our website at camicb.org under the exam preparation option in the menu at the top of our screen.
And are all of these resources available for free?
Some of these options are available for free, and then some of them are available at cost.
All right, thank you. Now let's go ahead and dive in and review all the resources you mentioned.
Sure, let's go ahead and start off with the CMCA handbook. This is one of our free downloadable PDFs, and it will cover the exam policies and procedures. It also contains a detailed outline of how the exam is structured. And this is a great resource to start out with because it gives you a really good overview of the program as a whole. Next, we have the CMCA study guide, and this helps candidates develop exam preparation strategies. And as I mentioned earlier, it also contains some standardized test-taking strategies, which are great to help plan for your exam. And it also identifies knowledge areas and content that will be covered. We also have the CMCA practice exam, which is available to purchase at $25 for one attempt or $40 for two. And this allows you to become familiar with exam content and question types because it contains 65 questions that were rotated off of the exam. And these are not current questions, but rather questions that were previously used on the CMCA exam. And so while they're not questions that you're going to find when you take your exam, it will help you understand just how those questions are structured and some of the best ways to answer them.
All right, now, so getting into Quizlet, this is a free online tool that will help you grasp key terms, definitions, because it offers multiple interactive study methods. Included are things like flashcards and little mini games and all sorts of fun interactive methods for you to understand some of the terminology and definitions that will be covered in the exam. You also have the Foundation for Community Association Research Best Practices reports, and these are all free downloadable PDFs that focus on industry best practices. They contain several case studies that help you with applied knowledge. And then we also have the CMCA Study Kit, which is available for a fee. And this is a collection of 6 titles from the CAI's Guides for Association Practitioners or GAPs. This will go further in depth and analyze the specific knowledge areas. And actually, CI has created a digital version of the CMCA Study Kit. This was previously only available to purchase as a physical selection of titles, and you will have to order them from the bookstore. But now the bookstore has converted this into downloadable access for you immediately. All right, so Karina, earlier you mentioned an e-learning course. Can you provide some more information about that?
Sure, we have a helpful study tool called the CMCA Exam Preparation e-learning course. And this is a free study tool and is a course comprised of 2 sections. The first section contains 4 modules that review the exam format and help you create a personalized preparation plan. And the second section contains 3 scenario-based modules designed to put the most challenging exam subjects into context. And those include risk management and insurance, financial controls, and then governance, legal, and ethical conduct. And you'll notice that each module will take approximately 25 minutes to complete. But it allows you to stop and start the program for you to learn at your own pace. And you can access this online at camicb.org by selecting the exam preparation e-learning option from the exam preparation drop-down menu.
Great. All right. So now let's go ahead and talk about the process for taking the CMCA exam. Once you have arrived at your CMCA examination scheduled date, you'll want to ensure that you leave yourself plenty of time to arrive, park, and sign into your testing appointment. You'll want to be sure that you don't schedule any appointments before or after the exam, and you'll want to plan for a 2.5-hour, 120 questions exam. If you have questions about what it will look like when you go into Pearson VUE Testing Center and what that examination process looks like, Pearson VUE does have a web page that reviews the process with the security involved as well. And you can check that out either in the attached handout, or you can reach out to us at info@camicb.org and we'll be happy to send you the link. All right, now, would you mind talking a little more here about ID verification, Karina?
Sure, so when you're on the way to the testing center, double check that your current government issued photo ID matches what's listed on your CMCA authorization to test email. Not only will you want to be sure that the photo ID matches your first and last name, but you'll also want to be sure that it is not expired. Pearson VUE will validate your appointment based off of your ID, and if the ID you present is not current or has expired, they will not be able to verify your identity.
All right, and what about the exam survey?
At the end of your exam, you will be provided with a survey to complete. The survey will include demographic questions as well as questions on what study materials you found the most useful for the exam. And these questions are optional and will provide us with important data to determine how best to improve our program.
And finally, what are the last steps after completing the test?
Once you have completed your exam, you'll get your test results immediately. The test results will include what's called a candidate feedback report, and the candidate feedback report will include a score report. If you do not pass, you will receive your score. Candidates must receive at a minimum 600 out of 800 to pass. Now, the candidates who do pass will not receive a numerical score and instead will receive a score of essentially pass. Typically then, in about 3 to 5 business days or fewer, we will receive your result from Pearson VUE and be able to upload that information into the database to officially award you your CMCA. And once that has been completed, we will send you an official email correspondence to let you know that you've officially become a CMCA. If you do not pass the exam, you can retake it, and the process is very similar to how you submitted your initial application. However, the application fee for the CMCA retake application has been reduced from $360 to $200. And also a quick note, you are not required to retake the M100 course to retake the CMCA. And then also candidates cannot use the 2-year requirement to retake the CMCA. The 2-year experience option is a one-time waiver and cannot be used more than once. So if you used your 2-year experience option as your prerequisite for your CMCA exam and you failed, you will have to use one of the other 2 prerequisite options in order to submit the CMCA retake application.
All right, thank you so much for all of that information. That was incredibly informative. Now we have some time to take some questions. Karina, do you see any questions from our audience?
Sure, let me go ahead and take a look here. Okay, someone mentioned that a couple of the hyperlinks on the PDF might not be valid. So go ahead and send us an email and we can send that to you. We also have our website, camicb.org, where all of these links live. But if you email us at info@camicb.org, we'll be happy to send you anything you need. All right, let's see.
And
Oh,
also on that note, I wanted to confirm this information for everyone. The CMCA practice exam, it's currently unavailable. We are creating a new one and to a new platform. So there is no link as of right now, and we're hoping to have a link available soon for the CMCA practice exam. And also for the CMCA study guide, there is a link on our website, as Karina mentioned. You just simply go to the exam preparation webpage, and then you'll be able to access all of the links and all of the study resources that we mentioned during this webinar.
great, thank you, Laura. I have a couple of comments and questions that have popped up. Crystal, thank you for the comment that this was super informative. We appreciate that. Megan has a question. I have my CCAM. If I don't pass the first, is the CCAM a one-time waiver?
No, the only prerequisite option that is a one-time waiver is the experience one. If you have registered with any of the license options, you can simply reapply for the exam.
Great, thank you. Laura has a question about the number of incorrect questions allowed. So how many incorrect questions are allowed that equals 600 out of 800 to pass?
I actually don't have an answer for that question, so please follow up with us with an email, Laura. The email is at the bottom of the page.
All right, thank you. Malia has a question. I have already paid for 2 practice exams, but have only taken 1. Can I still take the second one?
Okay, that's actually a very good question as well. So would you be able to also follow up with us with an email? I want someone else to take a look at that.
Okay, thank you. And then Gregory has a question. Where can I find some complete practice exams?
I believe you want to know how to register for the practice exams. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
if you
don't know
could
how.
clarify, Gregory, that would be helpful. Because we just have to my knowledge, the practice exam that you can sign up for, which is $25 for one attempt and $40 for 2. But if you're asking something else, please just type it in. All right, let's see here. Michelle has a question. Can you let me know if it is worth it to pay for the Quizlet version?
Well, that's actually a personal choice, Michelle. If you feel like that is necessary for you to prepare for the exam, then please go for it. Everyone's study method is different, so it is a personal choice.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's see here. Gregory followed up on his question. He says, I want 120 question practice exam beside the 2 that we just mentioned.
Oh, we do not offer a 120 questions practice exam. The 120 question is the actual CMCA exam that you have to go and take in person at any of the Pearson's View Testing Center. The practice exam, it's just 30 or 60 questions.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. And then Megan is asking about a book. Have you heard of the CMCA book from Glenn Grayfields?
No, Megan, we have not. Please share that with us. We'd like to take a look into that.
Excellent. Let's see here. And then Michelle has another question. I took the test twice already and not passed. 594 and 584 scores were what I received. What do you recommend for me to pass the test on my next opportunity? Because I studied very hard.
Yeah, so Michelle, when it comes to study advice, we do have a team who'll be able to assist you. So please follow up with us with an email. Again, the email is at the bottom of the screen. It's our customer service email, and somebody else will get back to you.
And it might be worth checking into your local CAI chapter because I know a lot of them offer programs and also some of them have mentorship opportunities or people who've been through this before. So that might also be another good place to ask questions about that. Let's see. Okay, Ashley has a question. Are the questions on the 2 paid practice exams the same questions or are they different?
It is the same exam. You're just going to take it twice. It's not different questions.
Okay.
That's
And
what it's
then
called, practice exam.
Okay, thank you. I see another question from Gregory. I read also that there are essay questions on the exam. Is that correct?
I am not sure about this question. I'm sorry.
I don't think they're essay. I think they're all multiple choice,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah,
It's 120 multiple choice questions. So I do
it is.
not believe that there are any essay questions because it's a multiple choice exam.
Correct.
All right, let's see. Oh, someone else commented. I can't verify this, but I think Crystal said the essay questions are on the PCAM. And then let's see. Mark has a question. Where on the CAMICB website can I sign up for the practice exam?
So as I mentioned, the practice exam is unavailable right now, but it will be soon available under exam preparation. There is a whole section called exam preparation where you will be able to access the link to register for this.
Excellent, thank you.
I see Mark is asking if the practice exam will be available between a week. We hope so. We don't have a settled date yet, but we hope so it's going to be available soon, Mark.
All right, I see more people dropping off, so I think we can close it out here. Laura, do you have any final items to add or mention before we close out?
No, I will say please go ahead and email us, and the PDF for this webinar, it's available right now, correct, Karina?
Yes, it's on the toolbar.
For all of those who need to access the PDF, and also if you want to listen to the recording, it will also be available soon on our website.
Great. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today, and we hope you have a great afternoon. Goodbye.